Hello there, commanders, and welcome to another Total War Arena news update. At the same time, a channel update, a SUNTZU update. So, we've just released How to Bring Total War Arena Back to the West SUNTZU podcast episode. And yeah, it was really cool to interact with you guys through the live chat and in the comments. You can still provide your feedback and your thoughts on that matter in the comments below. But yeah, that topic is so important that I decided that it needs a video on its own. A summary of sorts of the podcast, because the podcast is 2.5 hours long. Not everybody will want to watch it, not everybody will have time to watch it, so I'll try to summarize what is going on in there to bring you that important update. But if you want to listen to our in-depth discussion about it, you can always watch the podcast. Here I'll focus on the most important things. So the two main topics we had for this podcast. First, how to bring Arena back to the West was in the title. And the second, what Creative Assembly needs to do to make Arena a success once it's back to the West. Because, it's a two-side deal. We want Total War Arena, but we also want Total War Arena to be a good product. And so does CA, right? Because last time around, Total War Arena just wasn't profitable, and that's why, they killed it, essentially. It was deemed unprofitable, there was no return on investment, so we as the community need to let them know that there is still a sustainable big fan base here in the West waiting for Total War Arena and, willing to support it and waiting for the game. But as with everything, it needs to be a good product, so we will expect from CA to also improve a lot of issues that Total War Arena has, especially since they're a company and the game needs to be profitable in the first place, first and foremost, right? We talked a lot about monetization and how Creative Assembly can improve that. But I'll leave that to the podcast itself. That's not something I want to summarize here. Because, I'm not a Creative Assembly representative or anything, so there's only so much I can say from their point of view. What I can say and can talk about is our point of view, the communities, the SUNTZU side. And we, as SUNTZU Academy, we are going to step our game big time to provide you, the viewers, a much better product, so then you'll be hopefully interested in, actually subscribing, liking the videos, leaving the comments, etc., etc. Because as much as this is memed about, all those YouTubers saying all those stuff, it really does help. And here we do have that motives like, hey, this is to actually help us bring Total War Arena back to the West. Because if those numbers go up, Creative Assembly will also be, looking at them as like, oh, okay, well, this channel is entirely based around Total War Arena, and it grew so much just during the Chinese version. So if you bring Arena back to the West, maybe there is a sustainable fan base of Total War Arena players eagerly waiting to receive the game with a warm welcome. But obviously, those players will also want to see a huge improvement from CA side. But what can we as the community do? So, to that end, to help you to bring you the best product possible, let's start with Twitch. We have created a new Twitch account, SUNTZU Academy. We did have one random stream which wasn't completely planned. The channel was supposed to premiere, on 23rd, together with Arena, but Arena had one random server turned on. That doesn't sound right. The servers were turned on randomly at one time 4 days ago, as you can see. So, I just decided to stream it on this channel, and quite a lot of you already have found out about the channel, even though it wasn't announced anywhere. I haven't pinged anyone about it or anything. But yeah, we already got 21 followers, so that's nice. So please, if you're still interested in our streams, go to SUNTZU Academy. And about the streams, we have, as SUNTZU, come together to stream on this channel, I think 10 streamers altogether. There may be even more in the future. It's not really locked or anything. So we've essentially 10 different SUNTZU streamers, SUNTZU content creators come together to stream on this one particular channel, because we figured out that having one channel that is able to stream every day is much better than 10 different channels that can stream once a week. And that way, we always have those connected audiences instead of just trying to host and raid each other. They'll be all within one channel, right? So it is much better. And then if somebody wants to stream while a stream is already running on SUNTZU Academy, they can just stream on their own account or whatever. We touch more about that in the podcast itself, so if you want a deeper explanation of what is going on, go there. Okay, that is essentially it. Please follow our Twitch channel if this is something you're interested in. If not, that is entirely fair, up to you to not to follow. But it would help us immensely, and then also help bring Arena back to the West, especially since all those followers that we generate on this channel will be from Chinese version only, pretty much. So that way is a really good way of showing that, hey, there's a sizable fan base here waiting. But we've touched upon that already. So let's go on to, well, the next biggest platform. I mean, if you word like that, YouTube is bigger than Twitch, obviously. Well, let's go on to our second big platform, YouTube. And this is our schedule, things that I want to post on our channel. This is what I have figured out so far. It is obviously very flexible and, work in progress, up to change. But for now, stream highlights published every day, twice a day. We're going to have a lot of those thanks to, just being able to play 24/7. Obviously, we're not going to actually sit and play all the time 24/7. But, last time we had 5 days of testing and 5 hours each day, I think. And, well, that generated content for 2 months, 2.5, more or less. Right, but that generated content for 1 battle a day, and those battles were not necessarily all like up to the standard, right? But that was just because we had no idea when Total War Arena is going to come back, and I still wanted to have 1 video a day published to keep the channel alive and growing, which to some extent I did achieve. So there we go. But now the selection criteria, let's say, will be much stricter. So the content you'll be getting through the stream highlights will be much better, since there'll be just a much larger pool of selection from good battles. And also not only from one streamer, there'll be multiple streamers that I can pull those videos from, essentially. So it's not going to all be Kenane Archers or Kenane Cavalry, or occasionally Caesar Javelins. Right, if Gunslinger streams something, then we have Elephants stream highlights. If Fox God streams something, then you have Foxman highlights, etc, etc. So yeah, all those stream highlights will just the best of the best battles that we play on the stream. And also, if you obviously want to watch all of them, go to our Twitch. Then we have podcast highlights. This is essentially, what it says on the tin. It's a highlight from our podcast. So if you go here, right, our podcasts are divided into topics, where each podcast, well, here for example, it has 2 main topics, and then within those topics it has like subtopics, like how to bring Total War back to the West, and then what CA needs to do, and then what CA needs to do, well, they need to improve monetization, they also need to improve their marketing, and they also need to improve their in-game content to keep the game alive. So then we divide that into those 3 subcategories, and then each subcategory is uploaded to YouTube as a podcast highlight, which is much more digestible format, because you know exactly what is being talked about in that segment instead of just one general broader topic of the podcast. And then it is much easier to provide feedback that way on just one particular topic rather than a podcast that has several topics in it. And then you can link something like that to the developers and tell them like, hey, see, this is what community thinks about this one particular issue. But we're also going to come back to that later. Then we have the YouTube slot, let's say, because all of those are just, let's say, pre-generated content. I mean, our podcasts premiere on YouTube. Maybe they'll also premiere on Twitch. I don't know. But I think it will stay on YouTube as it is right now. So it is just essentially re-uploaded, just cut down into smaller, more digestible pieces. So if somebody doesn't want to watch the entire 2.5 thing, such a highlight is made for him or her. And no, we have battle commentary on Mondays and Thursdays. It is essentially a format where I go into a replay, talk about a particular thing that happened during that replay, get some lessons out of that situation, or just talk about a certain mechanic, etc., etc. So the first video is going to be, what is it called? Friendly Fire in the new game mode, where I essentially have a battle where there are a few situations where previously, in the previous game mode, something would be considered bad friendly fire, but in the new game mode, it is considered good friendly fire because of the capping zones or capture points and healing zones that change the dynamics of the battle and how everything works. And that's what I focus on in that battle. Then there's going to be map control with cavalry, a very interesting topic, and I think a lot of you will be interested in it. And if you are, well, it is coming quite soon. Then on Tuesdays we'll have replay analysis. So how is that different? In replay analysis, we are going to focus on one single player, or maybe a party of players on occasion. But essentially what it is going to be is me getting a replay from one of my viewers through Discord, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. I mean, you need to end up sending it on Discord anyway. But that's not the point. I get a replay from a person, and then I commentate on his gameplay and give him advice on how to improve. So if someone sends me a, for example, Greek archers replay, I go and watch it and okay, you see this? Okay, here you targeted this unit, but see there's also this other unit in your range, and you deal more damage to that unit, and also that unit is higher threat, so you should focus, and in that situation you should shoot that unit. So what you need to improve on is your awareness of your surroundings, what units are within your range, and ability to determine which targets are more important than others. Right, and then we continue on. I was like, oh, it's cavalry coming, watch out. You need to pull back behind your spears or just get closer to melee. Okay, good. Or then you get close to a capture point, and let's say you capture it, and then you just keep pushing forward. It's like, oh, well, see, in this situation, we could have went back and healed because you just got in a healing zone really close to the capture point you've just captured. So in this particular situation, I think you should have healed instead of just YOLOing forward. Right, so this would be much more personalized training, but everybody who plays Greek archers will be able to get something out of that. So I think that is something I'm really looking forward, and you can send your replays through Discord. And then we have Battle of the Week on Wednesdays. I mean, again, it will be through replays, so how is that going to be different? Well, this is essentially just going to be an interesting battle, the best battle that happened last week. So while the battle commentaries and replay analysis can be just recorded ahead of time, like for example, I already have multiple battle commentaries recorded and just waiting for the release. I don't want to release them now. Actually, one of them releases either today or tomorrow. But yeah, I have already recorded them like a week or two ago. Because I was waiting for Arena to start ramping up. And that's when I will start releasing those. But yeah, they can be pre-recorded and then released whenever I want, using those classic MP4 hacks, and people are like, whoa, how are you playing? The servers are offline. Well, I do have something called MP4 files stored on my PC, but let's not get into it. Yeah, so Battle of the Week also aims to be always fresh content. So, the battle has happened within last week of the battle being uploaded, and also it is obviously then recorded. either directly on Wednesday or just in the prior week. So everything we'll talk about in that video is always going to be super fresh. And then on Friday, now this is the highlight, SUNTZU guides. So we've already been working for quite a while on SUNTZU guides. The plan is to release one a week, but they actually take a lot of effort, a lot of time to write, record footage for, edit them all together, record voiceovers, all that stuff, and it is a huge group of SUNTZU players, members, working on them together to bring you the absolute best product possible. And we are never going to push a release forward if it were to compromise our quality. We are going to take our time with SUNTZU guides, but to make sure that every single guide is as good as we can make it. We don't maybe have super good experience in making guides, but yeah, we are literally doing our best, trying our hardest to make it as good as possible. So yeah, I hope for your support on that series, and yeah, once it's out, let me know what you think about it. The first one is going to be Greek arches, obviously. We had to start with that. Yeah, as much as we want to make it every single week, if that doesn't happen, we'll keep you updated. More on that later. Then on Saturday, we have a surprise. I already know what it is, obviously, because it is my idea, but I'll for now keep it to myself. You will see what it is. It is going to be a series that requires some editing and some prior scripting, so that's the hint. And once it's ready, I'll start releasing it on Saturday. So that schedule is supposed to go live with the 23rd of September, but some stuff like battle commentary, or no, actually only battle commentary. Only battle commentary at the moment is ready. But yeah, like stream highlights, at the moment we don't have any stream highlights because there was nothing to stream for the past 4 months, so we already ran out of everything we had. But once we start streaming, those will start appearing, right? So we'll be gradually launching those points in our schedule until everything is up and running every single week, at least as much as possible, looking at you SUNTZU guides. But as I said, quality over quantity. And then on Sundays, we'll have open trainings hosted on Twitch, where SUNTZU recruits and clan friends will be just able to join us in a training room custom battle and play together with us. That's essentially it. Same format as it was on Wargaming version. Probably will not launch those trainings right away, or wait a few weeks to allow people to grind up their units so then we can actually play on tier 5, 6, 7, 8 instead of it being all over the place, essentially. But yeah, once the game gets running, those will get running as well every single week. So I've mentioned the updates on the SUNTZU guides, so that's where Twitter comes in. I created a Twitter account. Hey, 5 followers, there we go. Nice. So yeah, literally just started today. First tweet about our links, essentially promoting what we are aiming to achieve, bringing Arena back to the West, and us providing you the best content possible. And then this tweet kind of came out of nowhere because, well, the story came out of nowhere. There was an update earlier today to the NetEase launcher where they added a clan feature, and what so happens that SUNTZU suddenly is #1. So yeah, I took the opportunity and tweeted about it. The video about this clan feature will be coming later, but well, it's not the topic of this video, so I still need to figure out what the hell is going on in there. I do have a general idea, but yeah, I'll first deep dive into it and figure out what is going on in detail before making a video on it. And then, as I also mentioned earlier, that yeah, YouTube comments are pretty good place to provide feedback, but Reddit is better. Reddit is better because YouTube gets a lot of those random comments, like already also previously mentioned, Oh, how do you play? I thought the servers are offline, and all that random stuff. Reddit, not really, and it can be much more easily moderated, etc., etc. So I've already made one thread, cavalry meta, is it real? And yeah, already 5 comments. You can join the discussion and provide your feedback as well. It is much easier for me to link a Reddit thread to the developers rather than a YouTube video. Also, the developers just look at YouTube videos like, oh no, I'll have to watch 5 minutes of footage. No, that's too much of my precious time. But if they're going to spend 30 minutes reading through all the Reddit comments, apparently that's okay for them. So hey, I'm judging. That's what they prefer, and yeah, sure, if that's what you want, developers, that's what we'll bring to you. And also, well, this is an opportunity to just meme about the game. I'll be posting a lot of memes, and I'll be posting a new discussion thread, either it's arena feedback, arena discussion, or anything else. Could sometimes be related to other games we're playing, like Conqueror's Blade or World of Warships, but it's still like 95% or more even will be Total War Arena content, because that's what it is. Copyright, no, don't call me. I'm busy recording a video, sorry. Yeah, so that is our Reddit. Again, if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in providing feedbacks or just looking at funny Total War Arena memes, that's the place for you. Go into the comments, go post your own stuff, post whatever you like. I mean, as long as it is within the actual topic of the subreddit, obviously. And then last but not least is, well, sort of unpleasant topic, but unnecessary one. Because what Creative Assembly is going to be looking at is the numbers. They are a company, they need to make money. As I said, Total War Arena needs to be a return on investment. They need to see that. And that's why they'll be looking at numbers. Sadly, that's the reality, and there's nothing we can really do about it. But obviously, I do not have any like Total War Arena numbers to work around or work with, rather. So there's something I can provide. Our subscriber to non-subscriber views ratio, and it is pretty bad, sadly. Which means that a lot of you viewers, right? 86% of you watching this video right now is very likely not subscribed. Big apology to those 13% that are already subscribed. You're cool. You're very cool. I'm talking to those 86 players right now. 86%, okay? Obviously, you're not obliged to you're not obligated to subscribe. If that's something you're not interested in, sure. But do consider subscribing, pretty please. God damn it, Jojo. Italian mafia. Yeah. Sorry for that. I really want to get that video out. So, since our channel is based mainly around Total War Arena, there is only an occasional World of Warships or Conqueror's Blade video if I happen to record one. But yeah, 99% of our content is Total War Arena, especially now in the Chinese release. Well, we already talked about it. We are aiming to provide much better content that we had so far, and hopefully that will incline you to subscribe to our channel. It is the same case as with Arena, right? We shouldn't really ask you to like, please spend money on Arena to keep the game alive. No, Creative Assembly needs to provide a good product that people will be just naturally willing to spend money on. And that is what we are aiming here. We want to provide as good as good product to you, as good content to you, videos, streams, etc., etc., so that you hopefully will be inclined to subscribe. But I'm just putting that out that yeah, if we could get that number to at least 25%, because that is essentially the YouTube benchmark. If 25% is the minimum to be considered good. So yeah, if through that better content we can get to that number, and then I can show this graph to CA and it's like, hey, look, we are producing good Total War Arena content. looks like a lot more people are now becoming interested in Total War Arena. So maybe if you were to bring Total War Arena back to the West, might just be a success. If you obviously improve yourselves. Right? All of that is in the podcast itself. Well, this video also took 25 minutes. But it is an important topic, so I do not want to miss out on anything. So please consider supporting us, visiting all the links in the description. Oh shit, there's one thing. I really need a script for that, don't I? This Discord. Those 2 phone calls are distracting me. And my dog. God damn it! So, give me a sec. Oh, bless the pause button in OBS. Dog is now safely secured on my lap and not barking. As we talk in our podcast, obviously, if you're not interested in the content itself, there is a lot of players like that. We don't really know the ratio, right? Because like we can assume for every single subscriber that is interested in our content, or every single view that we get on our videos, there is X amount of players that are just not interested in our content, or Total War Arena content in general, but are interested in playing the game itself. So this is something aimed at those people, I guess, but if they don't watch our content, they wouldn't really know that. Then again, our Discord has more members than our channel has subscribers, so there's that. More people want to join our Discord than subscribe to our channel. I guess that just says our content wasn't good enough so far, so that's why we are aiming to improve it. But enough about that, rather. Let's get into the Discord stuff. As we talked about in our podcast, play the game, just play the game. They'll have this, it's like, hey, those guys are connecting from the West. We see where like the pinging comes from, right? They can definitely see that. They do have a tool like that. So they'll know that X amount of players is playing the game from the West. And just for us, the community, to make it easier for us to play Total War Arena, to actually find battles, we encourage everyone to play during European or North American prime time, or just in general America is the same time zone, more or less. Because obviously you can just play during Chinese prime time, but Chinese prime time is early morning to like afternoon in Europe and the middle of the night in America, so not ideal for either of us. That's why if you all choose, if you, for example, have decided, okay, I can spend 2-3 hours to play this day, but I can play whenever I want, I just have 2 or 3 hours of playtime, it is better to allocate that playtime during Western prime time to, well, allow other Western players who do not have really a choice and can only play during prime time find battles faster. Right? We'll reduce the queue times for a Western community, and a Western community will also get to play more together with ourselves rather than with the Chinese players during their prime time. So yeah, all of that will just bring our Total War Arena Western community closer together. So all you need to do is go to our Discord, the role assigned channel, react with the emotes associated corresponding to each. Sorry, that's my dog. Corresponding to each role, and then that role will be pinged at the corresponding time to its name, obviously. And then if you want to play with us, play with other players within the community, because that's what it is all about. Well, not all about, but another factor is playing together. You can play solo, you can play together. If you want to play together, well, here are open party channels. Just join one of them, or looking for party, and you can party up with other people. Maybe some SUNTZU players, if they don't have a party themselves, they can join you there too, if they don't have a SUNTZU party going on, or just feel like playing with some other people. Up to them, really. Can't really predict anybody's behavior, but yeah, I myself will probably also occasionally go down there and just play with some new people, meet them, get them on occasion to come on the stream, etc., etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, the video is half an hour long. But hey, it's still better than 2.5 hours of the podcast, right? But hey, the podcast dives much more in depth into all of these topics that I talked about in this video. So check it out if you're more interested in the topic. And if not, that has been it. I mean, in the podcast, we mainly focus on the CA side of things. So that's mostly what you will get there. Here, I've talked about all the community stuff, the stuff that we are going forward with. With that said, thank you, Commanders, for watching, and I really do hope to see you on Arena's battlefields.